Hello everybody, I'm the Solar Gamer, and welcome to RimWorld. Welcome to a brand new series in RimWorld. Now, I will say before we start this off that this will be a modded series. If you're looking for vanilla, this is sadly not the place to find it. I love RimWorld. I've been addicted since Alpha 16 came out. Now, I've been playing this game for quite a while, but when Alpha 16 came out, that added the whole world as traversable terrain and colonizable land, I have been... like I said, I've been really addicted to this game. But there are some things with the base game that do kind of bug me. Some small little tools that need to be adjusted, as well as I think that the game... Now, this is alpha, keep in mind. So when I say this stuff, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, because the game is technically an alpha. So, I mean, there's a lot to be done to this game. But I just want to add some flavor as well. You know, I know a lot of other RimWorld series out there kind of have the same exact stuff because it's mostly just vanilla or a couple different mods here and there. Now, when I show you the mod list that are activated, don't get scared or panicked. If you want to download any of these mods, there will be links in the description, followed by whatever mods I have installed. Now, the mod list probably won't change at all throughout the series, but if it does, I will inform you guys. So, without further ado, let's get into the mods. Like I said, this may look like a bunch of mods, and it is. It's a shitload of mods. But it doesn't really change much of the game. There are some big ones in here. But, like I said, we'll just kind of go through all these. So the temperature gauge is really just a notifier for you. If something is getting too hot, like the freezer, you want to put a temperature gauge, it would tell you if it's getting a little too hot, you know, past the freezing point. That's kind of important, trying to keep your food from, well, spoiling. Fish industry. That's just basic flavor for fish. Fences and doors, again, nothing gameplay changing, just, you know, a little bit more aesthetics. Okay, so these two right here are for animal prosthetics. You wouldn't imagine you would need this, but animals can get parts shot off just like humans can, but you cannot do a damn thing to the animals, which is kind of annoying. Especially if you're using your animals primarily as haulers or as war animals. It's kind of important to kind of have them up to par. So this just adds basic little prosthetics. We have bees. This is more of an add-on to something else down here that I'll talk about. Numbers. I actually just got this one for the literal picture of this mod, which is to quickly and easily identify shooting skill, shooting accuracy, and aiming time. There's not much else I really use this for besides this. Caravan spot, pretty simple. Without this, the caravan can set up on either side of the map, but usually at the very edge of the map. It's very, very strange the way this works. So I just want to designate a spot where they set up, prepare, and then they can go off on their way. Less arbitrary surgery. One of the biggest pet peeves I have about this game is with doctoring and surgery. Surgery, when you're replacing a limb, or rather, when you're adding a limb onto a guy that has his leg shot off, which you'd imagine would go kind of easier than, you know, chopping some guy's leg off to replace it. There's a chance you could critically fail and kill the guy. Even if your doctor is close to skill 20, which is the maximum skill in the game, there's still a very big chance that he has a minor chance of failing, which will basically just stab the patient, or critically fail and kill him. And I hate that. Less arbitrary surgery essentially gives us better chances, depending on skill, and also gives us a second chance. So if they fail first, then they have another chance to kind of make up for that before they fail completely. So, I mean, this is all read off right here, that you can kind of pause the screen right here and actually take a look if you really want to. Again, the links will be in the description below. Hopefully I have them all there. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to kind of add all the links to the description, but they will be there, and, I mean, well, they will be there if you have a Steam account, because this is the best way I can do it. They're all on Steam, so I'm just going to link the Steam pages of these mods next to the name. So, more vanilla factions. As it stands, there's a pirate faction, there are 2 tribal factions, and then there's a regular colony faction. So that would be 4 total. This just adds a hell of a lot more to interact with, which I think is definitely needed. Of course, Wonderlust, which is the nickname for Alpha 16, is brand new. The world is brand new, so I understand why there's not a lot of factions, but I like well, I like more flavor. So, step away from the medicine. Changes default medicine settings. This mod essentially lets you choose who gets what medicine and who gets the best care. Now, normally in a game, if there was, say, an ally faction that came in, they got attacked by, say, a boar or something, and you had to rescue them. You would rescue them and then use your best medicine to fix him. You couldn't dictate what they received. Now you can. This is just a simple thing that adds different options. Hand me that brick. It allows haulers to be able to bring construction materials to the blueprints, which is kind of important, and I don't know why it's not already in the game. Conduit deconstruct tool. Yes, this is kind of important because, well, the conduits are always underneath an object. So to disable or deconstruct a conduit, you have to basically deconstruct twice. Once on the object above and then one below it. And then you can cancel the object above, which is not very efficient. So this just does conduits only, which makes things so much easier. Area unlocker allows us to build more areas. There is an arbitrary limit to the amount of areas you can have in a game, which makes no sense to me. So this is the mod that will fix that. Replace walls. I mean, this allows you to replace any wall or door over the existing object, and it deconstructs or mines out whatever you are trying to replace, and then it replaces it with the construction, which is very, very helpful. Vegetable garden, yes. So this is a mod that really changes a lot of, well, farming in general, and then just what you discover on the map. So it adds a whole lot of new food, which I've been debating whether or not I actually wanted to put this inside the series, but I mean, why not? It adds more flavor to the game, like I keep saying, with a lot of these mods that do this. Because the base game, although it's fantastic, it's kind of overdone in terms of Let's Plays. I'll be honest, right? So, adding a little bit of a difference to that should hopefully keep you guys interested. At least, that's what I'm hoping for. Same thing here, more furniture. There's nothing wrong with the furniture currently in the game, it's just this is more. Bulk meals. This is kind of just an easier thing for your cook to do. Instead of doing one meal at a time, you know, going into the freezer, coming out of the freezer with materials, cooking one meal, bringing that into the freezer, grabbing more material. He brings all materials for, I think, like 4 or 5 meals, cooks them all up there, and then brings the 5 meals back out into the freezer. So this just makes things a hell of a lot easier instead of going back and forth. Programmable vents. This is pretty damn nice in a temperate environment. So in the winter it gets cold, in the summer it gets hot. In the winter, you wouldn't want to really keep ACs on in the freezer when you could just use the outside air to keep it cool in the freezer. You're losing power there, so it's inefficient. So this just allows us to program vents to say, make sure you're only gonna vent things inside if it's below a certain temperature. Cookable survival meals. Right now, there is absolutely no way to create survival meals in the game. And these are actually very, very important when it comes to caravanning, which is the whole big point of Alpha 16. Sure, you can make pemmican, which is, well, I don't know what it is, really. It's a mixture of dried food, I guess. Either way, this allows you to create cookable survival meals. The allow tool. This is just a thing that allows you to mass allow certain objects on the map, or the entirety of the map, which is pretty damn awesome. Expanded cloth. Yes, so this adds another layer to cloth and making that cloth into clothing, and then also allowing clothing to be ripped apart for extra cloth. It's very, very cool, because I hate having leftover clothing around that I can't do anything with, as well as I want another step. I don't just want to get cloth from cotton plants, or, is that how you... Yeah, I think that's how that works. In this case, you have cotton plants, and that goes into cotton fibers. You refine that into cloth. Yeah, something like that. Either way, this just adds a whole new level to apparel and all that stuff. Trading spot. Same as the caravan spot, but this says traders should trade where you're telling them. Packified animals. Right now, there aren't many animals that can actually be haulers for you in terms of caravanning. You have the muffalo, obviously, but nothing that you would think could be one. Like, say, an elephant. Elephants could technically be used as haul animals. I guess polar bears, as you can see right here. So, I mean, this just makes it a little bit easier for us as well. Storage crates. Pretty straightforward, except I don't like the whole cheat with some of the mods that just say, we're going to increase the stack size limit, because that doesn't make any sense to have like 750 wood sitting in one tile. Now, technically speaking, this does the same thing, but you have to construct something for that to happen. And it costs a lot of, materials and whatnot, so it's an extra step in the right direction. There's nothing that really... When it comes to storage crates, you're never going to find something that's not a quantum storage. Meaning, there's nothing that will make sense in terms of allowing a larger stack size without making things seem less realistic. And I don't know, I like this mod because, like I said, it adds an extra step to create the crates and then to package whatever material you're doing. Also, storage crates does not cover a lot of items, only the big ones that can get out of hand. Floor lights. Pretty straightforward, it's just decorative aesthetics. Mine it all. This is one of the most helpful mods I think I've downloaded. It was one of the first as well. Mine it all does three things. First and foremost, you get a mining brush, which allows you to do different shapes, but also, mine easier. It also does strip mining, which will set up a bunch of, very tight corridors to find resources, as well as a vein miner. If you click on a vein with this tool, it'll select the entire vein, and while that might be cheaty, I hate having to go across the map to keep telling my miners to work on a vein. That's not fun to me. Wildlife tab. This just tells us what is on the map in terms of wildlife. Look at me, I'm the worker now. Yes, this is going to... So if you have a colonist that is doing a specific job, and you tell somebody else to do that specific job as well, they won't do it, because it's reserved by the first colonist. However, this mod supersedes that and cancels the first colonist's job if you select a new one. I'm hoping that that was intelligible. Either way, yeah, that's basically what this mod does. OSHA compliance. Yes, so when you set traps, your colonist can sometimes get caught up in that trap and set it off. So this essentially just keeps colonists away from the tile that the trap is set on. At least that's what I think happens. Yeah, something like that. Rim fridge. This is another storage device, technically, but it's a fridge. You can store meals. This one is not cheaty because you can only store up to 10 meals on one segment, which I think is perfectly okay. So you can put this in the dining room. Done deal. They'll start hauling all the meals to this. Perfect. Blueprints. Blueprints allows you to rebuild a building very easily. Expanded prosthetics and organ engineering. This is one of my favorite mods because it adds a whole lot more to do with bionics. Allows you to replace organs which are faulty or have been shot, injured, whatever. And more stuff for just basic advancements in cyborgs, and it's really, really cool, the farther you get in this. The next one is something that I'm not too sure everybody's going to be on board with. It's embrasures. Embrasures are basically the cheaty form of shooting out of a window and not really getting shot back. They technically can be shot back, but the AI is not smart enough to notice that they can be shot, your colonists from the inside can be shot at. I'm not entirely sure I will be using these too often, and if I do, I won't make it that cheaty. It's just, I like this. I really do. I mean, I hate... Yeah, no, I like this. Efficient lights. For some reason, lights in the game, a regular standing lamp costs 75 megawatts of power. In terms of the entirety of the base, in terms of what, power is being directed to, this does not make any sense. So this just lowers it from 75 to 25, which is more reasonable than what it currently is. The fuse. Fuses and circuit breakers are incredibly important if you ever have batteries. One of the major ones is because it prevents the event. Zzzt. That's literally the name of the event. It's when a wire blows up. And if you live in the mountain, say you're replicating a dwarf home, and it blows up in the middle of your base, you're going to have a lot of superheated air, super sunburning, essentially, your colonists. And that's never fun. So, this is all stuff, by the way, that you have to research. There is a tech tree, and it's not just given to me up front. So I choose my mods not based on cheatiness, but based on balance. And this is it. All these mods that I've listed are all balanced, pretty much, in my opinion, correctly. Animal tab. This just makes a better tab than the one that was currently in the game. Allows you to see all of your animals, training, whatever. So we'll talk about that once we get in the game. Miscellaneous training. This essentially allows you to build an archery target, a martial arts dummy, and a shooting target. So you could train your shooting or your martial arts. And these are joy items, so instead of having a normal horseshoe pit, you could set this up so they can actually be training themselves while, gaining some joy, which I think is important. Very, very important. And then, of course, we have a weapons pack, which has a crap load of weapons. There's a ton in here, and some might not be balanced, but in the same regard, when we're being hit with a raid, the raiders also have unbalanced weapons. So if I get a pretty powerful weapon, that doesn't matter, because the raiders could as well. So I really don't think this is unfair. And tilled soil. Tilled soil will come in later in the game anyway, but essentially it brings the fertility up to max for farming. But again, you have to research this, so it's not cheaty. At least I don't think so. Okay, well, that is it for the mods. We kind of got through all of them, I think. Nothing I missed. So like I said, these will all be in the description below, and you'll be able to quickly download them from the Steam Workshop, if you're signed in, of course, and all that stuff. So either way, I think we're ready to get going. Now, this will be a separate episode from the first episode. This will be probably like episode 0, because I did talk a lot about the mods, but I think it's kind of important to showcase the mods before you get into a game, instead of, having people be confused as to why something might not look normal. We will go ahead and actually create our world first, though, and then next episode will be when we first start our colony. So, new world, we're going to be crash-landed. That is perfectly fine. We're probably going to do Cassandra Classic, although I'm really tempted to do Randy Random on rough. In fact, that is exactly what I'm going to do. So, Randy Random. Randy doesn't follow rules. He'll generate random events, and he doesn't care if they make a story of triumph or utter hopelessness. It's all drama to him. And, yeah, I don't know. The storytellers are actually really, really cool. So, Phoebe Chillax will essentially allow you to base build, but she does give you some challenges later on in the game. And then Cassandra Classic is an arc, so it's going to get harder the longer the game goes on for. But, yeah, Randy Random, I think, is going to be the best option for us here. So, next. Seed. Right. So we're going to put in the Solar Empire. Perfect. Global coverage, 100%. I want the whole world. It says it will take a very long time to generate, but it really doesn't. Not for me, anyway. I haven't found a situation where it's taken longer than, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. So that's fine. Overall rainfall and temperature. This would create a regular, normal, let's say, earthy planet. If I drop the overall rainfall to low and the temperature to high, that's a desert planet. This would be a watery ice cap planet. What do I want? I guess I could just... I want the overall temperature to be a little bit higher. Throw in some challenge, some big deserts, so that traversing the world is going to be a little bit difficult. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, and here we are. This is our world, the Solar Empire. And I have to say, I quite like it. I mean, it's a Pangea kind of world. In fact, yeah, it's all connected. You know what? That's perfectly okay. I mean, there's some big oceans in here. We have some deserts, some big deserts up here. We have some arid shrublands. We have some jungle. Tropical rainforest, some grasslands. I mean, there are some forests. A large desert over here. And of course, all of these little symbols over here are colonies. Now, each color depends on what faction you're looking at. So this is one faction. So all of these are one faction. All of these are one faction, and so on and so forth. These are all pirates, and they will send all the raids to you, as well as you may have a faction that hates you, and they could be the tribe that can send raids after you. So politics gets a little crazy once time goes on. But I'm still trying to figure out where I want to go. One thing I don't like that they did is that they removed the overlays. So before, this world wasn't even here, right? You couldn't construct a world. You can construct a map, and then that would show you overlays of rainfall, elevation, stuff like that. I like the rainfall and stuff. But then again, it's not really needed, is it? Because rainforest is obviously going to be more rainy than shrublands. Temperature would be a good one, though. I would like a temperature overlay, because it is kind of hard to tell temperature-wise, how things are going to be. So, I don't want to start necessarily at the equator here. I want a well-balanced area. Faction-wise. There's a shitload of people over here. So maybe we do something like up in this mountain range. Let's open up this right here. Winter temperature is 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I am using Fahrenheit, not Celsius. That might piss some people off, but I am American. And sadly, we still have this old, outdated system. Sorry, but that's just the way things have to go. So I want a more temperate environment. And I'm thinking, if we can get this winter temperature down to 10 degrees, that's close. That's probably good enough. This is slate and limestone? No. I want something beautiful. Slate, granite, and sandstone. I like the granite. Granite, slate, and sandstone. No, no, no. Where's marble? Where the hell? Marble and granite. That's 12 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. 85 in the summer. We have 30 days of growth from the 6th of spring to the 6th of fall. That's a long growing period. It's decent enough for a temperate environment. I mean, 40 days is probably going to be the average for temperate environments. 50 being the longer one, and then, of course, year-round being for kind of hot environments that are going to take a long time to get accustomed to in terms of temperature management and clothing and stuff like that. I think this is going to be nice. We're actually situated in a mountain canyon of some sorts. Not a canyon, a valley. Yes. And we have a couple of different factions around us. 3 pirates all around here. I'm not sure proximity matters, to be honest. I think there's a certain range in which factions do show up for you. That's probably completely wrong anyway. I don't think it matters where they are. It just, in terms of caravanning, it does matter, because you're going to be out here. But in terms of what's going on inside your colony, raids, caravans, all that stuff that are coming to you, I don't think it matters. I think it's just very random. So I think this is going to work for us. Again, 12 degrees in the winter, 85 degrees in the summer. That's all Fahrenheit. And average is about 50 degrees. That's pretty normal. So let's go to advanced. Let's do a large map. I'm not sure how this is going to work with recording and everything. I think it's going to be fine if I even do this, but I don't want to. I think we'll get away with 300 by 300, which is about 90,000 cells. That's more than enough. And again, we can always recolonize if it's not big enough to another place. We can have multiple colonies going on at the same exact time, which is very, very nice. Okay, so let's go in. Let's hit next. And now I'm going to do this off camera because this is, well, it's going to take some time of randomizing and getting a balanced group of colonists. I don't like just going this, and going. That's not how I do things. I want at least a grower cooker, I want a miner constructor, and I need someone for, defense. Those are the basics. I want that automatically when I start the game. So I'm going to go for that. I'm going to randomize till I find a nice one, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and definitely stay tuned for more.